this was one of those things, to help me become who I am today. Again, I know I have a lot more to go through, but, I feel like those are one of the things that need to happen in order for me to get better at what I do.
You guys open the season. 4 of the 6 games include the Eagles, Texans, Ravens, and a Niners team that is generally expected to be better than last season. It's a tough opening slate, but how much do you think you guys are just going to have an idea of where you stand just from the opening of the season?
Yeah, I mean, it's always you can always look at the schedule and picture what a team is like. I mean, again, we try not to we take one step at a time when it comes to these things, and our main goal right now is just to win that first game, and then we worry about the next week when the next week happens. So that's definitely one of our focuses right now. We try not to get too invested of possibilities of everything, or watching another team. Oh, they're 5-0. We need to start preparing now, and it's 2 weeks before the game even starts. So we do a really good job at that, and it's one step at a time. Just like my rookie year, I think we were coming off the bye week, and we ended up winning like a bunch of games. And that's the mentality that we had, one game at a time. So that's kind of where we're taking it right now.
Steve Avila joining us here, Rams offensive lineman, Rams Revealed from YouTube Theater. You mentioned it in one of your first answers when we first started talking about trying to assume more of a leadership role in your third year here. Is it something that a lot of different offensive players are going to have to do with Cooper Kupp being in Seattle, with just somebody that had been here for so long, who'd been as successful as he has, who's as popular as he is, who is reliable as he is? Does that leave a big leadership void?
I feel like, we definitely, we lost a lot, with Coop. He was a great, awesome guy. He was a great player, and obviously he was a big leader. But I feel like with, my draft class and even the one before, we've learned that, we do need to take that next step into different things. And when I say more of a leadership role, I'm not talking about like, trying to become a captain, because I feel like that stuff will happen when I earn the respect of everybody else. But what is the part that I can do to make my teammates better? And I feel like that's what all of us are trying to do right now, and whoever becomes captain or whoever has the most respect from all of our players are the one who gets, crowned that.
Speaking of guys that I know are considered leaders on this team, Matthew Stafford, he is, I believe, pushing 38 at this point. Like, how does he do this? Like,
I don't know. He's still performing at a really high level, and last year coming in when Bo Limmer was coming in, we were snapping the ball, and I think he was snapping to him, and I was like, dude, I looked at Bo. I'm like, dude, can you like even fathom that you're snapping the ball to Matthew Stafford right now? And he was like, yeah, bro. Like when I first got here, I had a moment where I was just admiring him, because I watched him, growing up, and I feel like a lot of that is still there, man.
I was gonna say, you guys have watched him when you were like little kids.
Yeah. It's a crazy feeling. Even with Devontae Adams, just being in high school, like watching him do all this different stuff, and there's a lot. There's a lot of history here. There's a lot of players who played a very long time, and it's just awesome seeing everybody succeed. Right now.
So it's one of those things, going into the offseason, the question is Matthew Stafford going to be back? Is he not? Is he going to go somewhere else? Is he going to retire? And it just felt to me from the outside looking in that this just made so much sense for him to come back. That he obviously everybody wants to get paid, and I'm not brushed, but he's about winning. He's about being in a chance to win football games. And the other opportunities that were out there did not present him the same opportunity to win like the Rams did. The Rams didn't have a lot of better options to just go out and find it. It felt like it was inevitable to come back. Like it looked like it was going to happen. But when it finally did happen, how much of a relief was it to know that, okay, we got number 9 coming back.
Yeah, it was a big relief. Like, I always talk about just how blessed I am just to be around these guys, man. The way he just commands things, the way he does things, the way he speaks, the way he practices, the way he carries himself are just things that you would expect from just like a legend. You know what I mean? When you talk about pro guys, like that is who you think about. And it is amazing. It's so amazing to be around and just see someone who's so locked in as he is. So when we had him back, man, like it was a good feeling. It was a good feeling. It's hard for me to imagine how rookies get acclimated to being in the NFL when I hear how confident he is in what he's saying. And I know he's been playing for a long time, but I would be able to tell the difference between a rookie being back there versus him.
It's like learning a new language. Like, you just, okay, I don't have to think about what's being said. I just know what's being said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It is. I remember the first time I was in the huddle with him, he literally set the whole play because it's super long. And I was like, what the? Like, I don't.
There's a great, I think it's an NFL Films thing where you guys are in the huddle and he's getting the play in his helmet. Mm-hmm. And he's talking to you guys. He's like, yeah, he's still going.
Yeah.
And he's like, I got it. Like, and you could just tell it's like one of those, I know this as well as you do. And I think that's what makes those guys such it's like we understand each other in a way, but it's like, he's still going. It was a great cut.
Yeah, and it's so I think they have a timer in their helmet of how much they can talk to the coaches. And I full on believe, like, if that timer cut off, Matthew would draw up something.
Yeah.
He just knows that much. So
I mean, based on that clip, it felt like Matthew was hoping it would cut off. Like, no, seriously, I've heard enough. Like, Sean, I got it. Seriously.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Steve, last question before we let you go. I appreciate you doing this. We're talking with Steve Avila.
There you go. Awesome.
Absolutely. Obviously not a spot where a bunch of offensive linemen are getting a chance to do this, but what do you think about NFL players in the Olympics playing flag football?
I want to know what that would look like.
Yeah.
It would be very interesting. You said offensive lineman, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, like, just in both.
Man, it would be crazy. I don't know if, and the only thing that I think about is just the time constraint.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that would work out because I know that when the Olympics is going on, we're in camp. I remember watching the gold medal basketball game. I think we're like just finishing up with the Cowboys practices. So it'll be interesting to see how that navigates just with time and all the different stuff. But being able to say that you played for your country and coming away with a gold medal, that is just something that you can't even not a lot of people can say.
I want to see somebody from some other part of the world try to cover Tyreek Hill in flag football.
So I feel like we're going to be surprised with a lot of
really
stuff. Yeah.
Okay, how come?
Like we'd be like, I don't know. There's some bro, you can go find some random dude in Uganda that can run a 4-1.
Stu, I have a feeling, and I don't know, I'm hardly an expert on flag football, but I get the impression that it is bigger in other parts of the world than it is in the States.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of these other countries may actually be more prepared for, like, the sport of flag football because that is different than the football you play.
Yeah, for sure. I know a lot of people that are in, like, the I think there's a flag football league are wanting to get a shot at that. I mean, I don't know if it's a different game. I don't know how much that goes, but I mean, you have NFL players like Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow throwing the ball, Matthew Stafford throwing the ball. Like, it's going to get there. You know,
I would love to see Josh Allen with Tyreek Hill, and I don't like just this group of guys that can shake a little bit, that can run really well. I mean, that'd be a lot for NFL players to handle, much less non-NFL players to handle.
Yeah, I know. It'll be interesting. I'm actually really excited for it.
I am too. Steve, it's good to see you again. Thank you so much for coming by. Good luck to you. Stay healthy.
Appreciate
it.
Thank you so much.
Hope to talk to you again soon.
All right, awesome.
All right, that's Steve Avila, Rams guard, joining us here. Rams Revealed. We got a great show scheduled for you. Kevin Dotson, one of his offensive line teammates, is going to come by. Braden Fiske, Kobie Turner going to come by. Quentin Lake as well. So, whole bunch of Rams players coming through. We're going to get to all of that. Plus, Andy and I will talk about whatever else comes to mind with Rams football as we head into the 2025 season. Live from YouTube Theater, it is Rams Revealed.
Sedano and Cap.
Tomorrow at 3 p.m. after Mason and Ireland.
They got it all hooked up at the Dodger games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got great seats, like right down the third base line.
Beautiful.
Like good table right in front of them where you can have like cervezas.
Yeah. Oh, those seats.
And some aguas calientes.
Hot water?
No, what's the, what did I have today?
Aguas calientes, I have family there.
What do I have today? The shrimp. What did I have today?
Aguachiles.
Not aguas calientes. What did I have? Is that a casino?
Agua Caliente by DeAndre's house.
Right. Yeah.
And then Aguas Calientes where my cousin lives in the state of Mexico.
Okay.
You're getting there, Cappy.
What did I eat today?
Shrimp.
No, but come on. No, I don't want the white guy version. What was it called?
DeAndre?
What was it called?
Aguachiles.
Aguachiles. See, now I got aguas calientes.
You were close, Cap.
I was very close. Aguas chiles.
The LA Afternoon Takeover. That's Sedano and Cap.
On 710 ESPN.
The road to glory runs through Los Angeles, and ESPN LA is teaming up with Michelob Ultra for an epic FIFA Club World Cup watch party you won't want to miss. Join us this Saturday at Tom's Watch Bar in LA Live as two powerhouse clubs face off for a shot at the world stage. This Saturday, kick off at 7:30 p.m. Be sure to get there early so you can get your spot. Catch every second on dozens of screens, enjoy giveaways, and sip on ice-cold ultras. Thanks to Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. And, of course, 710 ESPN. We'll see you this Saturday at Tom's Watch Bar at LA Live.
The biggest show on the radio. Mason and Ireland on 710.
And then Beto said, like, how much nicer it is now than the old days, like, culture-wise.
Yeah. I agree with him.
And gave me a lot of credit, and Greg and stuff.
I agree with him.
Talked about how in the old days you weren't a great locker room guy.
Let me see.
That's a long time ago, though.
Yeah, really.
Not since I've been here.
Yeah. Beto really.
I don't even think we're in this building when
no,
that
he was talking about the La Cienega days.
Yeah, it was La Cienega. That was
Mace
a dark
real
place.
tough. Yeah,
that was a really.
You'd wear sunglasses.
It was dark rooms. Joe McDonough was there.
Joe liked to work with all the lights
in the dark, and it was very.
And and that's why Beto didn't want to come back, specifically because of having to work with you again.
Oh, really? Well, now he's back and he's happy.
And he says
I've evolved.
That you're a better locker room guy.
I am. I am the ultimate locker room guy.
And I think we should talk about it at Supercross.
Ultimate locker room
3 o'clock
guy.
today.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio.
Back Monday at noon.
Mason and Ireland on 710 ESPN.
My pal and fellow co-host of the Travis DeMarco Show, DeMarco Farr, is on stage with JB Long, Les Snead, and I believe that's Tony Pastors who's out there, and they are kind of getting everybody here, season ticket holders inside the YouTube Theater, ready for the 2025 season, Andy. And, we were talking with Steve Avila a little bit about it. He actually brought it up a couple of different times as well, just the expectations of this team this season. That I want to start by going back to coming into the 2023 season. This was coming off of 5-12, a team that had all sorts of injuries. Baker Mayfield comes in for the last month or so of the season, kind of settles the waters a little bit. But the first season under Sean McVay that was really like, man, that wasn't great. And there was all the speculation about whether Sean McVay was going to come back or go to TV. And coming into the season, it was kind of a shoulder shrug, like, yeah, let's see what happens. And they got off to a slow start, and then they took off. And by the time you got into the playoffs, they were one of the teams that, the proverbial team nobody wanted to play. Coming into last season, it was hey, did they just kind of catch a break here and there? Are they actually that good? Got off to another slow start, got hot in the second half of the season, won a playoff game under incredibly trying circumstances. It has to go to Phoenix because of the fires here in the L.A. area. And they give the Eagles everything they can handle. If not for a busted coverage up front and Matthew Stafford sacked towards the end of the game, who knows what happens there. They add Devontae Adams. Cooper Kupp goes out. They go through a draft. We'll get into all that. But the general consensus seems to be that the Rams are going to be good this year. How good do you think they can be?
First of all, my general expectation now for this team, this franchise in the McVay, Snead, now Stafford era, expect them to meet their expectations, assuming they're healthy.
Yes.
Like, injuries have been the only thing that I think has led to a Rams season that underwhelmed, but those are elements outside their control. They can't control how healthy they've stayed, but I can't recall a time under McVay and Snead, and really this even goes back pre-Stafford, going back to Jared Goff, where it really felt like they underachieved. With the roster that they have, they should have been better. Like, they got in their own way. It just doesn't happen.
No, I talk about this a lot on my podcast, Locked on Rams, and
available 5 days a week. Where you get podcasts Monday through Friday, always free, never behind a paywall.
Covers every sport, including the Lakers.
Yeah,
you may know, which you may.
For the sickos like the ones watching us right now on YouTube, there's a YouTube component for both of us.
I use this word on my podcast all the time. I use it on the Travis DeMarco Show all the time, and it sounds like, well, duh, but it's not. It's a real thing that is not in abundance in the NFL, the NBA, anyway. Basic competency.
Yeah.
Just guys that know what they're doing, that are going to put the pieces on the board where they're supposed to go, call the plays that are roughly right, and you got to get a little lucky with health and put the right players in the right position, have good culture, have good practices, and to your point, meet expectations consistently. And we've talked about the window being Aaron Donald. Well, he's gone, and the window is still open. We talked about the window being Matthew Stafford. I thought you mentioned it. When Jared Goff was here, they went to the Super Bowl. The window is Sean McVay.
Yeah.
The window is his ability to do exactly what you said, is to meet expectations with the players that he's given.
Well, I mean, put it this way. Last year, heading into the season, all the talk was about how do you replace Aaron Donald. What is this defense, especially a young, inexperienced defense, going to do without Aaron Donald. How long would it take before all of a sudden we start hearing the rumors that Aaron Donald is going to make a comeback? How long before we hear rumors that the Rams are going to be essentially begging Aaron Donald to come back? By week, I don't know, 5, 6 at the longest.
It was a dead issue.
Oh, you never heard the name Aaron Donald again. Think about that. Forget like best defensive player in Rams history. He's one of the best defensive players at any position in NFL history.
Yes.
And his return, will he, won't he, became a non-story for an inexperienced defense fast.
Yeah.
That's insane.
No, I'm glad you put it like that, because I think there are 3 names that you can say as if we're talking about the modern NFL in the sense of roughly the merger, okay? So you're talking of roughly 1970, give or take. There's 3 people there everybody goes, yeah, that's not a bad answer. It's Reggie White, it's Lawrence Taylor, and it's Aaron Donald. Those are the 3 names that nobody's going to go, oh, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
That's how good those players are. And Aaron Donald is the 3rd option in that list. And to your point, and I'm not saying that Jared Verse or Braden Fiske is the next Aaron Donald. Nobody's the next Aaron Donald. There hasn't been another Lawrence Taylor. We haven't seen it. But the point is, the team kept winning games. The team didn't have we've lost a great player, we don't know what to do. They were ready to
the defense
move forward.
Down the stretch of the season became their most reliable strength.
Yeah.
I thought like they became in a lot of ways a defense first team.
Yeah.
Despite again losing Aaron Donald on top of a collectively pretty inexperienced group. And, all of a sudden you look at, we were talking about windows, the window for this defense with so many young guys who have yet to get paid, that gives this team a runway that they maybe didn't expect when some of these guys were drafted, but it speaks to when we're talking about competency and the ability to keep putting yourself in the mix.
Yep.
Even if these guys have exceeded how quickly they could meet the expectations, these were the expectations for Les Snead and Sean McVay.
And there's the opportunity. We talk so often about how, hey, the secret to being good in the NFL is find a rookie quarterback who's good quickly, and you don't have to pay him yet. You can wait before you have to cut him quarterback type of money. It's a good way to do it, hard to do it. They've kind of done it. They just haven't used the quarterback. Jared Verse is going to make all the money. Braden Fiske is going to make a lot of money, and
we can ask him about that.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd love to talk about it. But you talk about Byron Young, you talk about Kobie Turner. These are guys that have not had
Quentin Lake, who's going to be with us.
Quentin Lake, that have not had that first swing at the second deal. And if you can do that, and then you can give Matthew Stafford what he needs, you can go and make a play for Devontae Adams. You can, we'll see what happens with the Jalen Ramsey situation as you move forward, and whether you can fit another player.
Kyron
Williams is up. Like, you can pay some other guys and keep that window with your star, air quote, star older players open a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, again, how I think also though this speaks to. People talk about Sean McVay, offensive genius, system, all that stuff, and it's real. But I think one of the marks of McVay as a really good coach, and you see this in a lot of different sports, like the really great coaches, they adapt to what they have as opposed to trying to make personnel work in a system of theirs that they don't have the right players for. Like
Popovich was great at that.
Yeah, Popovich was – everybody thinks of Greg Popovich as – the my way or the highway taskmaster, and that's really not the case. He adapted his teams all the time.
Belichick did it.
Yeah,
it's
another
guy. It's not this is what I do. I run a 3-4 or a 4-3, or I like to spread the field. It's a what do I have? It's almost like you might have heard this about me. I like to eat, and I like to talk about eating, and I like to talk. It's not I make this one dish, and I have to have these things, and if you don't have it, I can't make you something. It's what's in the fridge, what's in the pantry. I'm going to make you something great with what you're giving me, as opposed to, well, here are the 30 ingredients I need to make this thing. And Sean McVay is one of those guys. Give him good stuff. It doesn't have to be exactly the same stuff time after time, or even pretty good stuff, and he's going to make something that wins.
Well, I think also, too, with McVay, like there are some coaches that become known for their system or their ethos, like their thing, and it becomes so much of their identity and their ego that they want everyone to know that this is happening because of my thing. Sean McVay, like similar to the way that he always falls on the grenade for all of his players. He always praises them, puts whatever went wrong in a game on himself.
Yeah.
He does that because he knows I'm not actually going to get blamed for this. I'm not actually going to take heat for it.
Yeah.
Therefore, I can do the magnanimous thing. I can give credit to other people, and I can alter my system if I need to, because I know I'm going to get credit for it in the end.
Yeah, and that's I like how you said that. That is a nice position to be in, to say, "Oh, that's my fault," and everybody goes, "No, it wasn't."
Yeah,
that because it's real. You know, sometimes it was like, "Well, that's on me," and everybody goes, "Yeah, I know, I watched. Yeah, I know it was your fault. I saw it too."
And look, it also makes it so the times when it is actually his fault, you're okay with it, because he's not always throwing blame on everyone else.
Absolutely. All right, let me remind you, Rams fans, that you can join Rams quarterback Matthew Stafford and his wife Kelly coming up July 20th at the Rose Bowl for Walk United LA. Walk United LA will benefit recovery efforts from the devastation caused by the Eaton and Palisades fires and the United Way's life-changing initiatives focused on ending homelessness and supporting our most vulnerable neighbors. You can sign up at walkunitedla.org. You're also encouraged to join Team Rams. Those who sign up by June 2nd will receive a complimentary Rams-branded LA Together t-shirt. And Matthew Stafford and his wife will also serve as the honorary chairmen for the annual family-friendly fundraising walk run, and participants can join in support of the United Way's efforts to create a better Los Angeles for all of us. Participants also encouraged to sign up and build a team and raise funds. Again, you can go to walkunitedla.org. That is coming up on July 20th at the Rose Bowl, and it's not a bad neighborhood to walk around in. That's a pretty nice little spot, nice little pocket of LA.
One of your old stomping grounds, really.
It is familiar territory as a proud Arcadia Apache right down the road, and almost every January 1st, getting stuck in the Rose Bowl golf course there, Brookside Golf Course, and have to double tailgate.
I've actually played Brookside.
Yeah, it's a great golf course.
I'm not worthy of
it. Two golf courses.
It's gorgeous.
There. Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
It's terrific, and it's a great place to have your second tailgate of the night instead of fight the traffic. It is a great way to do it. Here's what we're looking at coming up here over the course of the next hour and a half or so at the YouTube Theater. We are doing Rams Revealed. Kevin Dotson will join us coming up in, call it 15 minutes. Braden Fiske and Kobie Turner about an hour or so after that, and then Quentin Lake will be the closing act.
I love, by the way, Kevin Dotson is on stage right now with DeMarco and the guys. I love that he has to wear a credential, just like everyone else, with his name on it. Sir?
I think those Cartier sunglasses are credential enough. I think those are amazing.
Sorry, man, we can't let you on stage. No credential.
Yeah. Who are you?
And you are...
You know what? That's how you know that you can just really lean into it, that you don't worry about an ID, a credential, and anything. Your face is your passport. That you just, everywhere you go, like, yeah, hey, I'm here. And they go, yeah, okay, come on in. Lots more to get to here from the YouTube Theater. Rams Revealed 2025.
The biggest show on the radio. Mason and Ireland on 710.
I ran into a dilemma when we were coming home from Hawaii, and I know I'm going to get bagged on for this, so I'm just going to throw it out there.
I'm ready to bag you.
We were offered a first class or business class upgrade
Wait a minute,
on our flight home.
Both of you or just one of you?
Just one of us.
So wait, I want to pause. You guys aren't already flying first class business?
We never do. We never do.
Come on, Mason. You work too hard.
For money and miles, we got bumped to first class
but
or
just
business.
one seat.
Just one seat.
So how'd you play it?
How do you think I played it?
I think you took it and made Juan sit in the back. I agree.
I begged Juan to take it.
Am I right or am I wrong about how it ended up?
I pleaded with him, John.
Am I right or am I wrong about how it ended up?
Please, Juan.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio.
Tomorrow at noon.
Mason and Ireland on 710 ESPN.
The road to glory runs through Los Angeles, and ESPN LA is teaming up with Michelob Ultra for an epic FIFA Club World Cup watch party you won't want to miss. Join us this Saturday at Tom's Watch Bar at LA Live as two powerhouse clubs face off for a shot at the world stage. This Saturday, kickoff at 7:30 p.m. Be sure to get there early so you can get your spot. Catch every second on dozens of screens. Enjoy giveaways and sip on ice-cold Ultras. Thanks to Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. And, of course, 710 ESPN. We'll see you this Saturday at Tom's Watch Bar at LA Live.
The biggest show on the radio. Mason and Ireland on 710.
And then Beto said, how much nicer it is now than the old days, culture-wise.
Yeah. I agree with him.
And gave me a lot of credit, and Greg and stuff.
I agree with him.
Talked about how in the old days you weren't a great locker room guy.
Let me see.
That's a long time ago, though.
Yeah, really. Not since I've been here.
Yeah. Beto really.
I don't even think we're in this building when
no,
that
he was talking about the La Cienega days.
Yeah, it was La Cienega. That was
Mace
a dark
was real
place.
tough. Yeah,
that was a really.
You'd wear sunglasses.
It was dark rooms. Joe McDonough was there.
Joe liked to work with all the lights
in the
on.
dark, and it was very.
And and that's why Beto didn't want to come back, specifically because of having to work with you again.
Oh, really? Well, now he's back and he's happy.
And he says
I've evolved.
That you're a better locker room guy.
I am. I am the ultimate locker room guy.
And I think we should talk about it at Super Cross Talk.
Ultimate locker room
3 o'clock
guy.
today.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio.
Back Monday at noon.
Mason and Ireland on 710 ESPN. The fun way to drive home is with Sedano and Cap.
Weekdays after Mason and Ireland.
I've never made a duty on a plane. Really? In my lifetime?
I would have never guessed that.
So shocked to hear that.
Wow.
Honestly, are you just afraid of it?
No,
what are you afraid of?
I just.
You don't want to walk out and everybody realizes it's you.
Yeah.
That's
probably more like it.
Sedano and Cap tomorrow at 3 p.m.
on 710 ESPN.
Rams revealed 2025 here from the YouTube Theater, and the folks here in the audience are getting a treat. Right now, JB and DeMarco hosting a little conversation with Kevin Dotson and Steve Avila. I'm very happy that I got that right. And this is an event for season ticket holders. So if you are interested in season tickets, you can do that. You can go to any of these Rams home games at therams.com/tickets. And, of course, that means you get to see everything Rams-related here that happens at SoFi Stadium, which it's funny, Andy. You've come to a lot of games here and covered games, and I've been doing Rams pre-half and post. This will be my 10th year coming up for this season. I still, every time I come to this place, it's like, dude, this just doesn't seem real.
I'm not joking. I actually said that to the guy from the Rams that led me to this suite. I was like, this place is enormous. And he said, this is just YouTube Theater. I was like, I know, but it's all like most places, the YouTube Theater, that's the extent of.
This is the venue.
Yeah, this is the venue. This is like the sidecar venue.
Yeah, this is where. This is if you're only a big enough act to play a 6,000 seat room.
Yeah.
And then there's the
70,000. This is like the side stage of Coachella.
Yeah.
Exactly. And this theater's amazing.
Have you been to into it yet?
I have not, actually.
No, neither have I.
I really want to go.
Right across the street, of course. So here are some of the Rams home games. They actually open at home this year. I can't decide if the first part of this schedule is agreeable or actually rather difficult. So let's kind of go through this. They open at home, which is nice. But you get a defending division champion. You get a team that's been in the playoffs the last couple of years in the Houston Texans. So not exactly the Carolina Panthers that you're getting right out of the chute. You get, of the 8 teams that you're going to get in the 2 southern divisions that the Rams cross over with. They play both the AFC and NFC South. This is the one team, maybe Tampa you could throw in there as well and say, that's probably going to be a pretty good football team.
Yeah, I mean, C.J. Stroud is a really, really good quarterback. They've got talent on both sides of the ball. They're a really good team.
And they have, in DeMeco Ryans, what I think the Rams have in Sean, they have basic competency. It functions correctly.
That dude looks the part.
He looks like he could play.
He not only looks the part, like you said, he looks like he could play. He's a good-looking guy. He looks like if you were to cast a movie about a football coach, an NFL football coach, Ryans would probably get that part.
It depends on what part you're kind of doing. Are we doing the super intense, fit, terrifying guy, because that's him or Tomlin, or do you want the big affable, lovable Andy Reid. He's got a cheeseburger in his back pocket type of guy.
It depends the coach you're looking for. But if you're looking for type 1, he will nail that audition.
McVay could be type 1 too. Like Pete Carroll and Andy Reid are in the older, more gregarious, more grandfatherly, been around the block a million times. These guys are guys that will
McVay's
fight you.
kind of in the middle, though, because he does have a certain intensity about him.
You think?
But he's got a coolness about him as well.
True.
You know, he's got the Hollywood hair, like the Hollywood manicuring. Like, he's kind of in between those guys. And when you talk to him, McVay's always great to talk with.
Yeah.
So he's kind of, I think, in the middle of the two casting central types that were described.
A little bit of both.
Yeah.
It's like a Neapolitan ice cream sandwich. You get a little bit of everything. You get a little strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate. A little bit of all of it. I don't know if there's such a thing in the NFL as a you want to wrap him here, or should we just wait till he comes up here? Which way do you want to do it? Okay. So we're going to get Kevin Dotson here in a second. So we're going to take a quick break, and Kevin Dotson.
Neapolitan talk?
Well, yeah. Well, he looks like he might know his way around an ice cream sandwich. We'll ask him if he likes a little Neapolitan as well, and then we'll continue our conversation about the 2025 schedule. Matthew Stafford, Sean McVay just walking out on the stage as well. We'll get to all of it. It is Rams Revealed 2025 live from the YouTube Theater.
The biggest show on the radio. Mason and Ireland on 710.
I ran into a dilemma when we were coming home from Hawaii, and I know I'm going to get bagged on for this, so I'm just going to throw it out there.
I'm ready to bag you.
We were offered a first class or business class upgrade
Wait a minute,
on our flight home.
Both of you or just one of you?
Just one of us.
So wait, I want to pause. You guys aren't already flying first class business?
We never do. We never do.
Come on, Mason.
We
You
got
work
bumped
too hard.
for money and miles. We got bumped to first class
but
or
just
business.
one seat.
Just one seat.
So how'd you play it?
How do you think we played?
I think you took it and made Juan sit in the back.
I agree.
I begged Juan to take it.
Am I right or am I wrong about how it ended up?
I pleaded with him, John.
Am I right or am I wrong about how it ended up?
Please, Juan.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio.
Tomorrow at noon.
Mason and Ireland on 710 ESPN. Sedano and Cap.
Tomorrow at 3 p.m. after Mason and Ireland.
They got it all hooked up at the Dodger games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got great seats, like right down the third base line.
Beautiful.
Like good table right in front of them where you can have like cervezas.
All those seats.
And some aguas calientes.
Hot water?
No, what's the what did I have today?
Aguas calientes. I have family there.
What do I have? What did I have today? The shrimp. What did I have today?
Aguachiles.
Not aguas calientes. What did I have?
Is that a casino?
Agua Caliente by DeAndre's house.
Right. Yeah.
And then Aguas Calientes where my cousin lives in the state of Mexico.
Okay.
But you're getting there, Cappy.
What did I eat today?
Shrimp.
No, but come on. No, I don't want the white guy version. What was it called?
DeAndre?
What was it called?
Aguachiles.
Aguachiles. See, I got aguas calientes.
You were close, Cap.
I was very close. Aguachiles.
The LA Afternoon Takeover. That's Sedano and Cap.
On 710 ESPN.
Looking for all things black and gold? Tap into LAFC Plus. Hosted by Dave Denholm and Mario Ruiz.
This is LAFC Plus. He's Mario Ruiz. I'm Dave Denholm.
React to the latest match. Get ready for the upcoming game. Get exclusive interviews. Plus, a look around the rest of the MLS.
This is what LA is about. Not just being in the big games, but also winning.
New episodes of LAFC Plus drop weekly. Available everywhere you get your podcasts and on the ESPN LA app.
The fun way to drive home is with Sedano and Cap.
Weekdays after Mason and Ireland.
I've never made a duty on a plane. Really? In my lifetime?
I would have never guessed that.
So shocked to hear that.
Wow.
Honestly, are you just like afraid of it? Like,
No,
what are you afraid of?
I just
You don't want to
afraid
walk
of-
out and everybody realizes it's you.
yeah.
That's
probably more like it.
Sedano and Cap tomorrow at 3 p.m.
On 710 ESPN.
It is Rams Revealed 2025 from YouTube Theater. Kevin Dotson's going to join us here in a little bit. And we've got Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford currently on the stage talking with JB Long and my pal DeMarco Farr. And as promised, We are here with Rams guard Kevin Dotson, who is fresh off of the stage at the YouTube Theater. How'd that go for you, my man?
Hey, man, I didn't know it was this many people
here. So, I mean, you play football in front of 80,000 people every week. That's a different experience, I bet.
It's not the same.
I mean, that you're wearing a helmet, shoulder pads.
Yeah.
Nobody can even see you.
They can't even get a real good look at me. You know, right here I'm in front stage and with the lights and stuff. It was a lot, but
yeah.
The Rams fan make it worth it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So one of the things that I saw that they were talking to you about up there was the mic'd up segment that you got to do, right? What's that like when they come to you and ask you to do it? Are you excited to do it? Do you lose track of the fact that somebody's listening and everything you say in that day? Do you give guys a heads up? How does it go?
And they'll tell you on Tuesday, and then expect you to remember that you're on there, and you forget. And then maybe halfway through the game, somebody like, remember you're mic'd up, and then now you got to tell everybody around you, and now they calling you a snitch and stuff. So you need to really hone in on it.
Yeah, I bet.
I mean, like, can you let us behind the curtain a bit? How much of it gets edited out? Like, would the cutting room floor be pretty interesting?
Probably. It probably would be pretty interesting for most people. I would say they probably put in a good 25% in there, but
yeah, I want to hear that 75 to 80.
It's not bad, but yeah, you know what I
mean. Rams guard Kevin Dotson joining us here at Rams Revealed. So, okay, you are not only an offensive lineman, you're guard. You're in the inside of the offensive line, and kind of going back to what we were talking about with mic'd up, like there's a lot of people in there doing a lot of stuff. Is there a running dialogue the whole game, or is there just I'm here to do a job, the guy across from me is here to do a job? Are you conversating the whole time? Like, what's take me through that?
It's way more chill than people expect. You know that you're doing a job, and the person knows that they're doing a job. People do talk trash, but a lot of times it's funny out there because, you're talking trash. Somebody's too tired to talk trash. Somebody will talk trash for them. Like me, I don't usually talk trash, but we could talk. We cool. I'm not. I can't be wasting my energy on that.
What about, like, the bottom of the piles? Like, we've heard stories from DeMarco's on stage right now, Kirk Morrison, we've worked with Keyshawn. Like, it is supposedly really ugly down there.
I do whatever I can to stay out of piles. When I say it gets ruthless, like, this is from high school up. It's never, they just talking or doing it. It's the most vile things under there, like people getting spit on, people getting grabbed in places that they don't want to get grabbed, and punched, and people twisting ankles, y'all know, stuff like that. But I try to stay out of anything, that type of pile up. I try to keep my ankles away from piles because people will roll and fall on you. Yeah, it's crazy over there.
So, Kevin, what are you looking forward to this season? Obviously, you're coming back for another season with the Rams, sixth season in the league, that a team that I don't want to say caught anybody by surprise last year because you guys were really good towards the end of the season, but that coming into a season with expectations that are maybe different than they were a year ago, maybe a little bit higher.
Oh yeah, man. We seen where we could be, and we seen how close that game was, and how many mistakes we made that could have swayed the game.
Did it feel like it was a play or two away?
We had no doubt that we were about to go win this game. That's how. Like, even the crowd got quiet.
Sure did.
It was the most quiet I've been on field at the end of a game at 3 seconds. I mean, not 3 seconds, but, like, points down, like, small points down. Like, everybody believed it. People watching believed it. Other teams believed it. The Eagles believed it because, like, I've worked out with some of the defender players. They were like, if we can beat them, then we're going to roll the whole thing. So now I know that they have that respect for us. So I think we're building on that. Now we have new pieces, some young guys I think that's going to come in and do something.
Aside from health, because that's the one thing that everyone's going to say, and also it's the one thing you can't control, if you look at last year trying to get yourself over the hump this year, what's the one thing you think, if nothing else, the offensive line needs to do to help get you guys there?
I think it's overall cohesiveness, having everybody at all times. Last year, I think I was like the only person who got to stayed healthy, but
ish.
Yeah, ish. Enough to play.
Relative.
Yeah, I played all the games, right. And the first few games, I was like the only starter from the beginning of the line. So it's like I'm plugging and playing with different people like every week.
Yeah.
And you can't really build a offensive line's cohesiveness if they're not on the field together. But once everybody got back, you've seen what we can do. If we could have had everybody healthy the whole time, it probably would have been, way different.
DeMarco and I do a show together every day. And I've asked him this question. I'm going to ask you the same thing. Like you said, I played all the games and that you were healthy-ish. The decision from I don't feel good, but I can play, to I can't play. Where is that point where nobody feels good in the NFL, I would imagine, after a week or so?
Oh, you're going to get hurt.
Right. But where's that line between I can do this, it's going to hurt, and I can't do this?
Man, my dad has kind of built it into me to if I can play, I'm going to play.
Yeah.
I don't care if I need to tape extra hard or put 2 braces on. Like, towards the end of the year, like my ankles were kind of bad, so I'm getting taped, and then I'm getting spatted, then I'm getting a brace.
Wow.
Then I'm taping that, like, in the middle of the game. I need extra tape just to make sure it's all good. And, I think anybody in our line would do that.
Yeah.
But if you can't play, don't be a burden to everybody.
How long does it take for when you're going through what you just described till you feel like yourself again? Is it months?
I take a month off.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as we're done, I'm not doing anything but maybe walking just to, keep yourself kind of okay. But you need that break.
Sure.
It's so punishing on your body. Like, the people who have stayed in the league for so long, I commend them because it's kind of crazy that you can stay in the league for 13, 14 years. Like, even Stafford, I've seen Stafford do some of the toughest stuff I've ever. Like, I'm like, how do you stay in the game? He has tips and tricks of staying in the game when he knows maybe the people up there are watching. Like, he has everything down because he wants to play. He's going to make it happen. If you've seen when he was at the Lions, he played with, like, a
separated shoulder. Yeah.
Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Like, and if he would have not played that game, nobody would have blamed him. But he said, I have to finish.
I'm guessing for someone like Stafford, too, like after all those years in Detroit where winning was often difficult to come by, and he went through seasons with, 2-14, 1-15, having the ability to win, I would think makes it so you're like, I am going to push through this. Like, I've had, over the course of my career, even like a Hall of Fame caliber career, I've had relatively little winning, at least compared to a lot of the beginning and middle of it. I want to experience all the winning I can.
I think he's such a team player that he won't get out of the game because we're still in the game. He is willing to fight through that for his people. O-line, nobody on the O-line doubts him for a second. If he says something, even if we made a call, if he calls it, we're calling it off. It's done.
Not trying to put you on the spot at all. Have you been on teams where that isn't true?
Where they
other places where it's like, hey man, I don't know if this guy back here's up for this.
Man, but I've been in.
I'm not even saying like in Pittsburgh. I'm just saying in your life, high school, college, other places. Like, man, this guy is like, I don't know about this.
Man, I've really had some good quarterbacks.
Yeah,
and like I'm thinking now from high school. Maybe one time in college.
Yeah, okay.
But I still trust that guy.
Sure.
I mean, maybe he might not have been the best at doing this or doing that, but I trusted him, and I knew that he would fight for me. So, I've had some really good quarterbacks.
Are those the same glasses you have in your intro on Sunday Night Football?
No. I got these made, I think a month after that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm getting some new ones made that are RAMS.
Oh.
That have the RAMS logo, so y'all be on the lookout for that.
Okay. Travis opened the door, and I'm glad, because your left lens has something engraved in it, and I can't tell what it is. It's been driving me crazy ever since you walked over here. What is that?
Well, it's a card game called Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is the card that I always used. Like, me and my brother, it was kind of crazy because he had this one that's completely opposite to this. So it's a blue eyes white dragon. This is the red eyes black dragon. And that was like always a thing that I've always liked. I like the art style. I even have it on my car.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You got to really love this game.
Yep. Oh, now I can see it. Yeah. Okay. I can see the red eyes.
See the red.
Yes. Yeah. So what were the ones that you had on your Monday Night Football intro?
That was my first pair I ever got.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like buffalo horn on the sides. Yeah.
Nice. So have you ever gone overseas to play before? You guys are heading to London to play the Jags this year. You done that trip?
This is my first time.
First time. Looking forward to it?
I'm very ready.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you guys, obviously, you'll be in Baltimore, play there. I would imagine, having seen what the Rams have done previously, probably stay there and then jump over to London and play that game. That's got to be an exciting moment for, especially somebody that's never done it before.
Yeah, I love it. I want to be able to see all the fans we have. Like, I want to be able to go there and, we have Rams fans in England. Like, this is crazy.
Well, they're Jags fans, too. Like, I mean, London is essentially Jacksonville, too.
You're right.
Like,
you're right.
The Jaguars have been playing over there for so long. It's essentially their team.
I believe that, but I think the Rams have an international pool of, like, better than a lot of people. Like, I went to Japan, and they knew a lot.
Winning helps.
Yeah.
Winning helps. You're on a team
right.
that wins a bunch of games every year. People get on board fast.
They see you in the playoffs a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And this guy, you guys got 4 primetime games. You got the London game. So there's going to be a lot of Rams fans all over the place this year.
Can't wait to see it.
Yeah, you're a big reason why. That's Kevin Dotson, Rams right guard, joining us here at Rams Revealed 2025. KD, thanks a bunch for coming by. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You got it. Take care, man. Appreciate that. Those glasses are tough.
Those are
I dig
phenomenal.
That. Yeah. I was going to ask at some point. I
Thank you. I was going to as well.
Yeah.
Seriously, from the minute Kevin sat down, I'm like, what is that on that lens?
Yeah.
I'm like, there's something engraved. I can't tell exactly what it is. It's got to be exceptionally well done because I can tell those are expensive sunglasses.
You don't get those at the gas station.
No. Those are not on a rack. But
next to the Tall Notes cassettes.
But then in the meantime, too, it's like, okay, you have to, with the money just for those lenses, like, those glasses as is are expensive.
Yes.
You have to find somebody really good at what they do to engrave in lenses those expensive.
Black Dragon Red Eyes. That's what it is, a Yu-Gi-Oh character. If I understood what he said right, I think I tracked that. No, that when he showed, I forget if it was Sunday night or Monday Night Football. Doesn't matter. But it's just like, Kevin Dotson, right? And you're like, oh, hell yes, with those glasses. Like, that was just, we're sitting there watching me, Emily Kirk, all the people that are part of the Rams pre-half and post show. Like, we saw those guys, said, that is awesome.
I love sunglasses. Like, sunglasses are one of those things that if I had more purely disposable cash, I would buy more of them because I think expensive sunglasses can look cool. I have a few pairs. I'm like, yeah, I'm doing all right for myself.
Yeah.
Then I look at those. I'm like, my sunglasses are bleep, man.
I like that he has it on his car, too. That's amazing.
Suck.
It's funny. We kind of, one of the things we talked about at the beginning of the show was the expectations over the last 2 years and how they've just kind of bumped up. The 1 year that the Rams did not have a successful season under Sean McVay was their 5-12 year after the Super Bowl. And it's very easily understood. They literally were pulling offensive linemen out of the police academy to play in NFL games. Literally.
I know.
Yeah. So when you're doing that, it's like, good luck. The guys on the other side are NFL players. This is not going to work. And you can see where the Rams have kind of made that commitment to. They re-signed Lark Jackson. Avila was a high draft pick a couple of years ago. They bring back Coleman Shelton this year. They got a lot of good football out of Bo Limmer a year ago. Kevin Dotson just came in, showed up, took that spot like that, and has not relinquished it. And then Rob Havenstein's been over there on the right side seemingly since the beginning of time. He's just held that down forever. And if those 5 guys or whoever slides in as the 6th guy, they signed Quisenberry earlier today, that if that's good, Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, Devontae Adams, Puka Nacua with time, Kyron Williams, they added Ferguson, the tight end. They're going to score a bunch of points if those 5 guys are right.
I mean, the last couple seasons, I thought all things being equal, the offense did reasonably well considering all of the chaos and turnover along the line. Like, it is really, really somewhere between difficult and impossible to have a cohesive offense with a line that's constantly changing in and out.
You might be able to pull a rabbit out of a hat once or twice a season, but you cannot win if that's not right.
No.
You can't win if that's even just mediocre. It needs to be average to better than that, and you got a chance. And it feels like they've really kind of doubled down on that area.
Yeah. you can hear Avila and Dotson, just the reverence and kind of amazement that they have with Stafford. Like, just, I'm often, submerged in everything Lakers.
Yeah.
And there's that same concept with, like, how is LeBron still doing this? Like, how is Matthew Stafford still doing this?
I got a question for you. And Stafford is the right person to use as the example. LeBron may be the ultimate example to use as the example. If it's not LeBron, it's Tom Brady. Are we seeing a change where being great at 40 isn't common, but it's not as uncommon as you and I have experienced it in our lifetimes, where science and technology and training methods and understanding rest and recovery, it's not going to allow everybody to go to 40, but instead of it being one guy like Brady and LeBron, we're going to get 3 guys, 4 guys.
Maybe 3 or 4. I tend to think most bodies just won't cooperate. And also, most people won't have the will to keep doing it. Like, you can
see with the money now, too.
Well, with the money, but also, like, this hurts.
Yeah,
football in particular. We've both worked with Keyshawn and Kirk and DeMarco. They've all talked about how this sport hurts. Most bodies just won't cooperate. And also mentally, like LeBron says all the time, mentally, this is the hardest part of playing in his 40s. Like, getting himself up for it, you can tell, even though LeBron is still playing at, like, literally unprecedented levels at his age.
Finished 6th in the MVP.
But it's not easy. Like, you can feel the effort with LeBron in ways that, in LeBron's prime, he used to do amazing stuff, and it barely looked like he was sweating.
Yeah.
You feel that sweat now.
I want to come back and talk about Matthew Stafford and his return to the Rams this season, and why I think what you just described, Andy, is the feeling that everybody in the building has, and you want to hold on to it for as long as you possibly can. That's coming up next. Plus, we got a conversation with Braden Fiske, Kobie Turner, and Quentin Lake. It's all coming up on Rams Revealed from the YouTube Theater.
The biggest show on the radio. Mason and Ireland on 710.
And then Beto said, like, how much nicer it is now than the old days, like, culture-wise.
Yeah. I agree with him.
And gave me a lot of credit, and Greg and stuff.
I agree with him.
Talked about how in the old days you weren't a great locker room guy.
Let me see.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah, really.
Not since I've been here.
Yeah. Beto really.
I don't even think we're in this building when
no,
that
he was talking about the La Cienega days.
Yeah, it was La Cienega. That was a dark
real
place.
tough. Yeah,
that was a really.
You'd wear sunglasses.
It was dark rooms. Joe McDonough was there.
Joe liked to work with the lights
in the dark, and it was very.
And and that's why Beto didn't want to come back, specifically because of having to work with you again.
Oh, really? Well, now he's back and he's happy.
And well, he says
I've evolved.
That you're a better locker room guy.
I am the ultimate locker room guy.
And I think we should talk about it at Supercross.
Ultimate locker room guy.
3 o'clock today.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio.
Back Monday at noon.
Mason and Ireland on 710 ESPN. Sedano and Cap.
Tomorrow at 3 p.m. after Mason and Ireland.
They got it all hooked up at the Dodger games.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they got great seats, like right down the third base line.
Beautiful.
Like good table right in front of them where you can have like cervezas.
All those seats.
And some aguas calientes.
Hot water?
No, what's the, what did I have today?
Aguas calientes, I have family there.
What do I have today? The shrimp. What did I have today?
Aguachiles.
Not aguas calientes. What did I have?
Is that a casino?
Agua Caliente by DeAndre's house.
Right. Yeah.
And then Aguas Calientes where my cousin lives in the state of Mexico.
Okay.
You're getting there, Cappy.
What did I eat today?
Shrimp.
No, but come on. No, I don't want the white guy version. What was it called?
DeAndre?
What was it called?
Aguachiles.
Aguachiles. See, now I got aguas calientes.
You were close, Cap.
I was very close. Aguas chiles.
The LA Afternoon Takeover. That's Sedano and Cap.
On 710 ESPN. Mason and Ireland.
I'm a big card counter.
Are you really?
The problem is
this is a beautiful mind. I can keep track of everything.
The biggest show on the radio. Weekdays at noon.
On 710 ESPN.
Looking for all things black and gold? Tap into LAFC Plus, hosted by Dave Denholm and Mario Ruiz.
This is LAFC Plus. He's Mario Ruiz. I'm Dave Denholm.
React to the latest match. Get ready for the upcoming game. Get exclusive interviews. Plus, a look around the rest of the MLS.
This is what LA is about. Not just being in the big games, but also winning.
New episodes of LAFC Plus drop weekly. Available everywhere you get your podcasts and on the ESPN LA app.
The fun way to drive home is with Sedano and Cap.
Let me see yours, Beto. I showed you mine. Let me see.
Oh, that's a great drop right there.
Let me see that. I can't see from here.
Yes, that's the point.
Sedano and Cap.
Weekdays at 3 p.m.
on 710 ESPN.
And it is a special edition of ESPN Los Angeles. Your home for Rams football, 710 ESPN. The all-new ESPN LA app and on YouTube at ESPN Los Angeles. This is Rams Revealed Live. And we are live from the YouTube Theater in Inglewood. Travis Rodgers and Andy Kamenetzky take you inside the event and up-close conversations with your LA Rams.
Blitz coming. He's hit. Ball down. Scooped up. Byron down. Phoenix got it. Jared Verse has it. Down the right sideline with blockers. 10, 5. A leap in the end zone.
Rams Revealed Live is on right now on ESPN LA. Now, inside YouTube Theater with Andy Kamenetzky, here is Travis Rodgers.
A great night so far. We've seen Matthew Stafford come on stage. We've seen Les Snead, Sean McVay. We saw Kevin Dotson just a minute ago. We talked with Steve Avila a minute ago as well. And it's feeling a lot like football season, Andy, isn't it?
Yeah. I believe that's Braden Fiske. Up on stage right now. Kobie Turner. They're going to be joining us later on.
Yep.
Kobie Turner, maybe the most talented, just purely talented member of the entire NFL.
You're not supposed to get two things. If you're lucky, you get one. If you're lucky, you get something that you're so good at you can make a living doing it. Like Kobie Turner can play defensive tackle in the NFL. That's a thing. He's also like a professional level vocalist.
It's similar.
It's not fair. You're not supposed to be able to do two things.
It's similar to the way I've always talked about Kareem. I always say, forget the GOAT debate, which I do think Kareem is on the short list of the GOAT debate.
Yeah.
I think you can make a strong argument for him as the GOAT in basketball history, but that's not the conversation I'm looking to have. Kareem, though.
Who's on your Mount Rushmore?
Kareem is the GOAT, though, of impressive people.
He might
just impressive people. Like, if Kareem had no athletic ability, he could have been incredibly famous as like an author, or a historian, a journalist. He knows so much about jazz. He likely could have been a musician if he had wanted to, or he could have, run the world's. He could have run his version of Blue Note, the iconic jazz record label. Kareem could have done anything he wanted to do.
And Kobie Turner is on The Masked Singer and plays in the NFL. It's a lot. It's a lot.
It's kind of gross.
Yeah, we'll ask him about it. He's going to come up here in just a few minutes. A reminder that coming up not long from now, in fact, a week from tomorrow, Friday, on June 6th, for the third consecutive year, the Rams and the City Year Los Angeles are leading a school beautification project in recognition of Juneteenth at Odyssey Charter School in Altadena. The event is in continuation of the team's efforts to bring joy to the community affected by the Eaton fire. The Rams rookie class, Rams cheerleaders, and mascot Rampage will join staff volunteers to paint murals on campus aimed to inspire students and provide motivation throughout their school day.
Reminding me, too, we were talking about Kareem and all the things that he's done. He has done documentaries about Black history that I've actually interviewed him about, like incredible documentaries. Again, it's disgusting just how incredibly
Some for the rest
impressive.
Of us, man. Let's just give us a couple. I just want to be okay at one thing.
It's people like Kobie Turner and Kareem, it's gauche.
It is. It's a little, take it easy, fellas.
Yeah, exactly.
Just take it easy.
We get it. You're great at everything.
I know. So Matthew Stafford just came off stage a while ago, and Kevin Dotson was up here, and when we talked to Dotson about it, you could tell he kind of perked up. And when we talked with Steve Avila about it, he kind of perked up and just said it's just, when he's back there, it's just different.
You know what's funny about that? It reminded me of, it was either heading into this previous season, 2024, or 2023, there had been that narrative and a bit of a news cycle about Matthew Stafford being uncomfortable with the younger players on the team and uncomfortable, even unhappy with the younger linemen that were being charged with protecting him, not thinking he was at their level. And then you look at Steve Avila talking about Matthew Stafford, sounding like grateful that I get the opportunity to put my body through a meat ring, in order to protect him.
Absolutely. And this is, and not that it was a slam dunk. It never is a slam dunk. And I said this about until it's done, it's not done. There's always the chance that something can come up, and I get that. But just kind of looking at where the Rams were, looking at where Matthew Stafford is in his career, he's going to be, I think it's his 17th year coming up this year, but he's still operating at an incredibly high level. It's not like you're going to find another one of those easily, if you find one ever. He still can play. That him coming back, it just made way too much sense. And because the other options that were available, it's like, he's made a lot of money. I don't think it's about the money. You mentioned it earlier. It's about the winning. He was on a bad team for a long time. He's on a good team now that has a chance to do this. And I know that it feels like we're year to year with him, and I guess that's true of all of us to a certain degree. But as long as he can throw the football like that, as long as his brain is still operating at an elite level like that, don't you ride that as long as humanly possible?
And clearly the Rams are.
Yeah.
And Sean McVay, as much as he has said that he always felt confident that Matthew Stafford would be back, once Stafford was officially back, you could hear the relief in McVay's voice when he's talked about this.
Yeah.
And, again, like that gratitude, the idea of I'm thankful that I get to work with this guy because he's somebody that is capable of carrying out my vision. And when you talked about it's not about the money with Stafford, look, to some degree it is. But
yes.
When you start weighing the different scenarios that you're going to be paid for, could he maybe have made more money on a worse team? I suppose it's possible.
Probably, yeah.
But when you've already made as much money as he has, and you know that in his late 30s, this is hard, the extra money honestly doesn't feel worth it, especially when it's not like the Rams are paying him a league minimum. He's getting a good salary from the Rams.
You're talking about increments.
Yeah.
It's another few $1 million that you're not – and that's why it's – and there's – I want to go back to something Kevin Dotson said a minute ago, that when they were playing the Eagles in the playoffs last year, in the divisional round of the playoffs, he said he has never been in a football stadium where the home team was as quiet as the Eagles were, where they were ahead. That because the Eagles were in control of that game almost the entire day. And there was a couple of different times you're like, yeah, man, this isn't going to happen. And then they scored a touchdown, and you're like, if they can get a stop here and get it back, who knows what's going to happen. It's exactly what happened. They got the ball back. They got a 3-and-out. Right away, they got the ball back, and you could feel it. You could feel every fan in Philadelphia. You could feel it on the Rams sidelines. You could feel it on the Philly. Like, we're in deep trouble, and it was because of Matthew Stafford. And I'm not taking anything away from the other 10 guys that were on the field or the coaches or the defense got the ball, but that was this guy has done it so many times, we've all seen it, that you could see it, the snow, that guy, he's the guy that throws the pass that wins the game.
Well, it's also, you mentioned he's been through it before. There are not a lot of guys on that offense last season who could say, I've been through it before.
Yeah.
Like a couple of them. Like there are guys
Cup
could say he'd been through it before, but not many of them, even if they believe in themselves as players. I mean, all these guys rightly have massive egos.
Sure.
But at the same time, though, even the greatest professional athletes, they need tangible proof of being able to do something. Like, that's why it matters when stuff is working. They need to see it. Stafford is one of the few guys who's like, no, man, I know this can be willed to happen. Like, I know this. I've done it.
And that's why him being back, I think, just gave let's do it again. And we've seen them in this position before. It was the year they made the trade for him. And it's one of the things with Les Snead. It's one of the things with Kevin Demoff. It's one of the things with Stan Kroenke and the entire executive ownership structure of this team. When they think they got a shot, they go for it. And it's not hey, let's dip our toe in a little bit and see if it's – no, if we think we've got a shot, let's really go for it. A couple of draft picks for Jalen Ramsey, do it. Second-round pick for Von Miller, do it. An opportunity to pick up Odell Beckham, do it. It's just – it's not one of these we're half in, we're half out. When we're in, we are in. And that's what it feels like why Devontae Adams is here. That's why it feels like Matthew Stafford is back, that they can smell it. They can feel it, and they know it. And it feels a lot like it did when they won Super Bowl 56.
But I think also it's funny, too, because, the Les Snead meme, F them picks.
Yeah.
Like, they are always going for it. But one of the things that I think is really smart about the organization is they may have the F them picks mindset in terms of we want what we want this season.
Yeah.
But it's not like they don't value those picks at all.
No.
A, they draft very well across the different rounds, even later in the rounds. But B, they made the first round trade with Atlanta this year, but they're picking up a first round pick next year. Like, they are aware of we are eventually going to need that first round pick. It's just when do we need it?
Okay.
And what do we need?
You and I were talking about this before we came on the air here a little bit ago, and I asked you, by the time we get to the trade deadline in the NBA next season, do you think Austin Reeves is going to be on this team? Because it felt like Reeves is the piece that the Lakers have to go plug some holes that I think we all, defense and all that stuff. So he's kind of the thing that could go to fix some of the potential problems. Do the Rams have that draft pick, the Atlanta Falcons draft pick, by the time the NFL trade deadline comes through? Because when they picked it up, it's like, okay, they got the player they wanted, Terrence Ferguson. They were able to do that in the second round. They did grab a second one, but I still think it wasn't so they can pick twice next year. I think it's so they can use it as basically a cash to go get a player this season to fill a hole the way they did with Von Miller and some other guys.
It's certainly possible. I mean, that's actually one of the reasons that I like that their schedule is pretty tough to open. Like four of the 6 opening games include, may not be the exact order, but Houston, Philly, Niners, Eagles.
Yeah.
Like, that's a tough opening 4 out of your 6 games. But what I like about that is, while you got to earn wins and you may not get the ability to stack early wins, you get a really good idea of who you are early. As opposed
and where
to
you're missing, maybe.
Right. What are you missing?
Yeah.
What do you need? What do you not need? Like, where do you think – you know what? We were a little bit unsure about this group, but this group is okay. It gives you a lot more information when you need it at, like, the deadline, as opposed to the toughest slate coming right at the deadline. You don't have time to think about it. Or maybe even after the deadline when you don't really have the opportunity to do something about it. I like that they're going to learn a lot right out of the gate.
They get Houston right out of the gate. Then they go on the road for a couple. We started to have this before the guys came up. I don't know if there's ever a thing as a you got to win this game. There's no excuse not to win this. It's the NFL. The other guys get paid. Tennessee, with a brand-new quarterback, it's not a very good team. In week 2, feels like one of those. If you boot that one, that's one that at the end of the year, like, I can't believe we lost that one. That feels like one you got to put in the bank. Then you go to Philadelphia after that. They're the defending Super Bowl champs. That's a tough draw. If you win it, great, but nobody's going to be looking down their nose if you don't. Then you get Indy at home, San Francisco at home. Again, Indy not particularly strong. They're dealing with quarterback things. San Francisco, always a tough one. Then Baltimore, back in Baltimore again after that. Then you got to hop on the road to London. The first part of that schedule, other than Tennessee and Indianapolis, buckle up.
Yeah, it's tough. But again, it's the NFL, and it's really difficult to go without a lot of tough opponents anyway. Like, it's hard, particularly if you were good yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to end up with a tough schedule.
Yep.
But if you're going to get a tough schedule, I would prefer to get a lot of tough games early, because at least you get information.
Here's where, if there is a part where you can be like, okay, we can put some money, and the Rams have been very good in the second half of the season over the last couple of years. It starts in London with Jacksonville. Now, that has its own variables that we all know. It's overseas, and it's all of those things. But who knows what it is with Jacksonville. But you get your bye week. Then you have New Orleans. New Orleans might be the worst team in the league. Okay, so you get them at home. San Francisco again. Seattle may or may not be good. Tampa. And then you get Carolina, Arizona right after that. There are 4 or 5 in there that feel very, very manageable in a relatively short period of time.
Yeah, and then down the stretch, too, I think their schedule offers them the potential for some rest.
Yeah. Atlanta, Arizona, the last 2 weeks of the season.
Yep.
Yeah, Atlanta on Monday night in Week 17. Still trying to wrap my head about how that one landed there.
Extra incentive
For that draft pick. Yeah, that could be it for sure. All right, so Braden Fiske, Kobie Turner finishing up on stage down here in front of us at YouTube Theater. They're going to make their way up here. We'll have a conversation with them coming up in just a little bit. Plus, Quentin Lake will join us before the end of the show. It is Rams Revealed 2025 from YouTube Theater.
The road to glory runs through Los Angeles, and ESPN LA is teaming up with Michelob Ultra for an epic FIFA Club World Cup watch party you won't want to miss. Join us this Saturday at Tom's Watch Bar at LA Live as two powerhouse clubs face off for a shot at the world stage. This Saturday, kickoff at 7:30 p.m. Be sure to get there early so you can get your spot. Catch every second on dozens of screens, enjoy giveaways, and sip on ice-cold Ultras. Thanks to Michelob Ultra, superior light beer. And, of course, 710 ESPN. We'll see you this Saturday at Tom's Watch Bar at LA Live.
The fun way to drive home is with Sedano and Cap.
Weekdays after Mason in Ireland.
I've never made a duty on a plane. Really? In my lifetime.
I would have never guessed that.
So shocked to hear that.
Wow.
Honestly, are you just like afraid of it? Like,
No,
what are you afraid of?
I just.
You don't want to walk out and everybody realizes it's you.
yeah.
That's what it is.
Probably more like it.
Sedano and Cap tomorrow at 3 p.m.
on 710 ESPN. Mason and Ireland.
I'm a big card counter.
Are you really? But
Yeah,
the problem is
this is a beautiful mind. I can keep track of everything.
The biggest show on the radio, weekdays at noon.
On 710 ESPN.
Looking for all things black and gold? Tap into LAFC Plus. Hosted by Dave Denholm and Mario Ruiz.
This is LAFC Plus. He's Mario Ruiz. I'm Dave Denholm.
React to the latest match. Get ready for the upcoming game. Get exclusive interviews. Plus, a look around the rest of the MLS.
This is what LA is about. Not just being in the big games, but also winning.
New episodes of LAFC Plus drop weekly. Available everywhere you get your podcasts and on the ESPN LA app.
The fun way to drive home is with Sedano and Cap.
Let me see yours, Beto. I showed you mine. Let me see.
Oh, that's a great drop right there.
Let me see that. I can't see from here.
Yes, that's the point.
Sedano and Cap.
Weekdays at 3 p.m.
on 710 ESPN. The biggest show on the radio. Mason and Ireland on 710.
I ran into a dilemma when we were coming home from Hawaii, and I know I'm going to get bagged on for this, so I'm just going to throw it out there.
I'm ready to bag you.
We were offered a first class or business class upgrade on our flight home.
Both of you or just one of you?
Just one of us.
So wait, I want to pause. You guys aren't already flying first class business?
We never do. We never do.
Come on, Mason.
We
You
got
work
bumped
too hard.
for money and miles. We got bumped to first class
But
or
just
business.
one seat.
Just one seat.
So how'd you play it?
How do you think I played?
I think you took it and made Juan sit in the back.
I agree.
I begged Juan to take it.
Am I right or am I wrong about how it ended up?
I pleaded with him, John.
Am I right or am I wrong about how it ended up?
Please, Juan.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio.
Tomorrow at noon.
Mason and Ireland on 710 ESPN.
I got this feeling inside my bones. It goes electric wavy when I turn it on.
From Braden Fiske. They should be on their way before too long. We get a chance to have a conversation with those guys. Quentin Lake also scheduled to come at one point or another. And on the stage right now here at YouTube Theater for Rams Revealed, you got a couple of skill guys. You got Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams, and nothing official yet. But listen to Sean McVay earlier this week. He says that very positive talks, progressive talks with Kyron Williams, so it feels like they're going to get something worked out with him.
I got to be honest. If he's on this stage right now,
feels pretty good.
They're going to work this out.
Yeah.
Like if you are in any way uncertain about this, you don't put Williams on that stage.
I don't think so.
Like it's not fair to Williams. It's frankly not fair to the fans. Like it's not fair to anybody. There's a cake being
Steve
delivered.
Avila is bringing a cake out to is it Puka's birthday today?
Apparently Puka's birthday.
There you go. It's a pretty cool cake.
That is a cool looking cake. It's got some Rams colors, blue candles.
It's going to be fascinating to see what the offense looks like without Cooper Kupp. And I want to be very specific about how I phrase this, because this is not a dig at Cooper Kupp in any way at all. But Devontae Adams brings an element that this team has not had. Cooper Kupp has had trouble staying on the field for the last couple of years as well. He is not the guy that was the Super Bowl MVP and the guy that was one of the greats in Ram history. We hadn't seen as much of him as we had previously. It's going to look very different this year, I think.
Well, I want to make it clear. I don't mean this to be snide or to sound like an a-hole, but when you said you're curious to see what the offense looks like without Kupp, the truth is we've seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually have.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And again, I hate saying it, but it's true.
We are joined right now by Ram Braden Fiske, who is fresh off of the stage at the YouTube Theater. You were killing out there. You know, we're up here, Braden. We can't hear exactly what you're saying, but every time I'd look up and your lips were moving, the room was laughing. So you got some chops in front of a big room like this?
Yeah, well, the hard part is, you're trying to read the lips of JB and DeMarco down there because you can't see what they're saying. Like,
just
you can't hear it. You can't
just
hear
ignore
it
DeMarco. He's not saying anything important, I can promise you.
No, it was cool, though. It was a really cool experience. First time, obviously, being in the YouTube Theater, and obviously, it's really cool. I was glad to be out there.
So I asked Steve Avila this. He came up. He was here last year, kind of in the same position you were in, where he just finished his first year in the NFL, getting ready for his second year in the NFL. What do you know now, getting ready for year two, that you didn't know coming in as a rookie a year ago?
I think just being on the field, see like the live game action is the biggest thing. I think coming from college to the NFL, you expect so much, but once you get there, you're like, okay, like
is it just football? I mean,
it's
faster, bigger.
At the end of the day, it's just football, and you learn so much going through the process of just different schemes, how to attack certain blocks, and just what you're going to see when you get out there. So now I'm so much more comfortable now, and you could see that throughout the season. I got way more comfortable as the season went on, and just my style of play and how things are going, and now I'm healthy. I've gotten upgrade the body a little bit, So yeah.
DeMarco said that a few times. He and I do the show together each day, and he says the biggest transition for a football player is from year one to year two because you're a professional football player. There's no school, there's no other stuff. It's like you get to work on your body from year one to year two.
And I mean. Totally, from the diet to the weight room to just the sleep. I mean, you name it. I mean, everything is upgraded, and it has to be if you want to take it to the next level. And I've been lucky enough to be around some guys that have been doing it a long time. I mean, even Cooper Kupp's gone, but talking to him last season of just how did you do certain things? Talking to Matthew, talking to the vets that have been doing this for years and years. So I mean, I think that's helped the most. Is just building up my own regimen and. Really dialing it in to how I can be the best player I can be, and I'm stoked for season 2.
I bet.
What did it mean to you to come into this rookie season with Jared Verse? Because you guys have been friends anyway. The Rams made that video of you finding out that you were going to be with Jared. Like, I got emotional watching him. I don't even know who these guys are.
right.
It was so. You could feel how special this was for you. Then you got to actually experience it. What was that like?
I think. The emotions just came from, how hard we worked to get to that point, and then how hard we worked that final year together. It was like, this is the year we're going to make it happen. Things obviously didn't end the way we wanted to at Florida State, but, me and him would sit together watching film. We're like, imagine if we ended up on the same team. How crazy would that be? And shit, 5 months later, it happens. You're like, oh, wow, like it's really going down. And then, I think just the transition from – being in the NFL, it made a big difference. Walking in with somebody you're comfortable with, somebody that somebody you can compete with.
I was just going to ask you, Braden.
I mean, that makes the biggest difference, right? I mean, especially in the weight room. You're chirping back and forth from afar. You're on the field. If I'm lining up right next to him or across from him, I was like, hey, like let's go, like meet me there, beat me there. I think that's kind of like our motto is. Who's going to get there first, but at the end of the day, meet me there, beat me there. Who's it going to be?
Rams defensive lineman Braden Fiske joining us here on Rams Revealed. And you took me right there. Obviously, you guys are friends. You guys have been teammates, in college, obviously here in the NFL. But I got to imagine there's a lot of healthy competition between the two of you guys. Yeah,
every single day. I mean, I was glad we didn't sit out there for the interview because if that rookie of the year would have got brought up, I don't know.
I bet. Again, because you guys are both in the hunt for it.
Natural,
he ends up getting it. But of course it is.
It's natural. We're friends from college, and we're competing. Every day is competing. We're talking about sacks, talking about tackles, TFL, you name it. In the weight room, who's hitting numbers, whatever it may be. But just constantly competing. So that was a little jab right there when he got that. But hey, he obviously deserved a great, obviously great season. Great player, so most deserving. But,
do you have anything on in the weight room?
These days, my bench is getting back up there. I took some time off from the upper body, but now I think it's showing.
Well, there's your motivation. You got to watch him in the gym. watch him in the weight room and then get back on it.
He's a meathead. He gets after it.
So you guys come in last year, and you in particular.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald decides he's going to hang it up. And it's like, okay, it's not just that you need to replace a defensive tackle. It's not just that you need to replace a starter.
Yeah.
It's Aaron Donald.
He
might be the greatest defensive player at that position in the history of that league.
Right.
And Andy and I were talking about this earlier, and I'm not making any comparisons, but it went very quickly from, hey, is there any chance he can come back to, hey, we're good. Like, it's not Aaron Donald, but we're okay. Like, the defense is pretty good. That position is pretty good.
People like us stop doing Aaron Donald watch.
Yeah.
Like, when will Aaron Donald eventually come back? When will the Rams beg Aaron Donald to come back? It was pretty clear, like, no, they're fine. Like, they're going to be fine.
What was that like for you?
Well, it was interesting draft night because the first question I'm asked, from the media is, how does it feel to, replace Aaron Donald?
Replaces Aaron Donald.
That's what, you try to say that, but of course they got to make a story.
Sure.
But, I think I'm super proud of the group of, between me, Kobie, BY, Jared, and, just the whole entire D-line and outside linebacker room of just, there was a lot of stigma going into the season of, can the defensive line be the same? Can the defense be the same? All this noise. And I think early on, there were some growing pains. But, as we grew together, as we got better, as we just continued to attack it, I think, we made a name for ourselves. And I think as the season went on, it wasn't a lot of talk of, do they need Aaron Donald? It was more so like, hey, we got some young and up-and-coming guys coming through, and, I'm super proud of it.
Did it feel to you, because, I've been doing the pre-half and post for the Rams. This will be my 10th season. I've done it since they came back to L.A., so I've gotten to see all of it since they've come back. And especially with Sean McVay, it has been a Sean McVay offense, a Sean McVay Rams offense. They score a lot of points. Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, Robert, just an offense. And Donald was Donald, and there's been good defensive players. Did it feel like it kind of switched last year, like the Rams' defense was kind of the tip of the spear, that was what was getting you guys going on certain days? That was the thing you could rely on, especially when you saw games like against Minnesota where you're just hammering the quarterback. Like, this is our identity now. We're a defensive football team.
Yeah, I think we were pretty balanced. But I think, maybe in our minds, we're a young defense. In our minds, let's do it. Whatever they throw at us, let's go. I think it was just combined effort from everybody on that field. From the back end to the front. We really got after it as the season went on. We had flying to the ball. That was a big thing. Like, the effort on our defense changed. The way we attack up front on the back end. I think. Yeah, I don't want to say, like, we were the main reason because, it took everybody. But I think, it got to the point in the season, like, man, we're a really good unit. We can really start to take over games. And I think it started to show as, time went on. And, I think that's really what we talk about now is, like, how do we build on that? How do we grow from what we did last season? Because it took time to get to that point. But how do we, return from where we were, the final week and, build on that going into week one and just continue to grow. And, I think we got the right guys to do it. A lot of us are coming back. And, the pieces that we added with Puna and, Landman, I think, we got some really good guys out there, so I'm excited just to see, how we can build on this.
With a group it's that collectively young, that relatively inexperienced collectively, how does leadership emerge?
And I think, that's where kudos goes to like guys like Kobie and Quentin Lake of, it may not be natural to step up, but and there it was like, hey, like, they're year 2, year 3 guys. It's like, hey, like, we need you. And, as me personally, I've always been a guy that, I want to make my mark before I step in and be a crazy leader. But, here Kobie is right now.
He's coming in.
Just, the way he attacked it this year and, took that leadership role and just ran with it. I could be more excited to see, what his trajectory is and, where we're headed.
Braden, take me through what it's like when you guys are having a night like you had in the wild card round of the playoffs, when everybody's getting home, play after play after play. What is that like? It's a feeding frenzy.
Obviously that's the best feeling. When everyone's getting after it, I think you're starting to get to the time like, all right, when's my turn? It's my turn to eat. But I think we were waiting on that moment. It was time for that. I think it was just the way we had been building up to that, and I think it started to show as the season went on, but that was like our coming out of like, hey, we're going to make something happen here. We got a good squad up here.
It was a fantastic rookie year. I cannot wait to see the second year. Thank you so much for coming by. Appreciate
it. Thank you, guys.
Yep. That's Rams defensive tackle Braden Fiske joining us as well. We'll just keep the party going. We'll do it all over again. Kobie Turner is going to hop in here next as well. Kobie, come on in here. Have a conversation. So they're putting you guys kind of through it right now. So, Kobie, you guys were put this on for me real quick. Yeah. You guys were down on the stage together, and now you're up here together. Like, What's it like for you? Like, is this kind of the kickoff of the season? I know you guys are in the weight room. I know you guys are doing stuff, but does it feel like we're just getting incrementally closer to real football stuff?
Yeah, no, I forgot what this was like, being able to come out here in front of everyone and be able to just talk ball and talk about, the successes that we've had last year. I mean, we're excited. We're geared up, ready to go, man. And, yeah, we've been building up to everything, and I think us starting practices this week is the same thing. It's all gearing up towards this is what real football looks like, and in a couple months we'll be putting on those pads and ready to open up, versus the Texans.
We've talked with a few defensive guys about just the defense last year was ahead of a lot of people's expectations, mine included, particularly when you take into account Aaron Donald retiring. What did you guys expect from yourselves heading into the season, and did you surpass it at all?
Yeah, the only thing that we expected is to come in and put in the quality of work that's going to give us the success that we wanted. And at the end of the day, it's always about the process. We talk about the process with Coach McVay, and, you can't worry about what everyone else thinks. If you get caught up in that, then, you're going to ride the wave and you're going to be too high, too low. But we were just trying to stay steady, stay in that fight, trying to encourage each other on a day-to-day basis to do the right daily habits, to put in the work that's going to ultimately lead to the success that we had. And I think in that way we did meet our expectations as far as, okay, what are we doing as a defense? What are our four core fundamentals? How are we bringing those things to life every single day, whether it be in practice and walkthroughs and jog-throughs, and ultimately how does that show up on Sundays in the games? And that ultimately showed up because we had the process in mind first before the result. And so that's going to be the challenge, and the most important thing for us this upcoming year is obviously we had a really good year as a defense, and we definitely started to come on strong towards the end, and it's about continuing to have that process-oriented mentality and to focus and attack the process each day, and that's going to give us the results that we want.
You mentioned it. Like, the process is the thing. You got to lean into that, and whatever happens is going to happen. If you take care of the process, that's the part you can control. Does it feel a little different going into it this year because the expectations have changed? Like a year ago, it was, hey, let's see what it looks like, and now it's, hey, they're really good.
Yeah, I think for us internally, the expectation was always to take it as far as we could go. But I will say being able to come back with the group of guys that we have, I mean, even just looking at the defensive front, being able to come back with me, Fisk, Verse, BY, and to have that group as a unit be ready to take it to the next level instead of having to figure out, okay, what are we going to do to be able to make up for, what we lost with AD, or what are we going to do to solidify ourselves as a defensive unit. We know exactly who we are now, and so it's about taking that to the next level. And that's really encouraging, too. I mean, I remember coming back a month or two early, and the guys that I saw in there was Fisk doing his rehab, Verse in there getting a lift in, BY getting his lift in. And so it's that core group of guys. Our defensive front, we've been working for a long time, and we have the camaraderie, we have the bond, the cohesion, and we're just excited to be able to put out, what we're going to be able to do this year. And I can't predict anything, but I know that we're gonna go out and we're gonna attack, man, and that's going to be really exciting.
We were just we were just asking Braden about you guys as a group were pretty collectively inexperienced, and leadership has to come from somewhere. You mentioned Quentin as guys who stepped up. What was that process like for you, especially if I wouldn't blame you if you thought, I'm not sure I'm ready for this because I haven't been in the league that long.
Yeah. Honestly, it's weird. There's like this time warp where it's hard for me to process the fact that I've only been in the league for 3 years. And I knew coming into last year that there was some leadership that was missing, obviously, with AD leaving, and that I was a person that needed to step in and fill that role. And so throughout time, there's a lot of growing pains throughout the season. I mean, I think of I leaned on Ernest Jones a lot, and it was such a shock for me when he left, and that whole situation. And I remember that next day of practice, it was like, okay, like Ern was the vocal leader. Now it's who is it going to be? And that next day of practice, I took that on myself, and it was like, how am I going to show up to practice? How am I going to be what this defense needs me to be? And ultimately, it was continuing that throughout the course of the season, obviously being able to be voted captain and having that honor given to me by the team to tell me that, they believe in what I can do and they believe in how I can lead the team. And as the season went on, there are so many growing pains. I think of the Arizona game was obviously one of our worst games of the year, and I think of so many things that I could have done differently leadership-wise, and not even football-wise, but how I interact with guys, how I uplift guys, how I'm going over and after we have a bad series, how am I picking up the guys and getting our minds directed in the right way. And so that was something that I took up upon myself, and obviously the team deemed me worthy to be able to lead the team, and that was the greatest honor that I'll ever receive, and I'm super excited to continue to use the things that I've learned, to use the ways that I've led, and to continue to see the rest of these guys too. Leadership is not a one-person thing, and everybody's built up together and brings their own little pieces and makes us a unit, and so I'm excited to keep leading that.
Rams defensive tackle Kobie Turner joining us here at Rams Revealed at the YouTube Theater, and Andy and I were watching you up on stage a few minutes ago, and I'll be honest, it kind of bothered me a little bit because I'm thinking, okay, if you get one thing that you're really good at, like, okay, fine, I can deal with that. Like, you're somebody gave you the gifts to be a good enough athlete to play in the NFL, like, amazing. And then we hear you sing, and it's like, you don't get two things. You can't have two things.
It's frankly gross.
Yeah, it's like
in all honesty,
you can't have two things that you're that good at. Like, do you want to give one of those things to someone else so we can all share in it?
It's
a little
very
bit?
gauche the way you're hoarding all these skills.
That's hilarious. Man, I love it. The music side keeps me, it keeps me focused. It keeps me locked in. And, I mean, I need that. I can't give that away because the amount of times where I come back and I don't have the practice that I want or I don't have the game that I want, it's like, man, I got to get this out. I got to play my guitar. I got to sing. I got to play the piano, whatever it is. And then
you play all these instruments too?
Yeah, I play a couple of them.
Yeah,
just leave.
So,
seriously,
how did The Masked Singer come together? I think most people know that you were on The Masked Singer. You did a great job.
I was Goo on Masked Singer season 12. That was a surreal experience.
Did you pitch them, or did they come find you?
They came to find me, and I remember me and my wife were sitting on the couch, and I get a call from my marketing agent, and he's like, "Do you want to be on The Masked Singer?" And we're like, "We've been talking about this for so long. Like, I didn't know it would come after year one, but it did." And we were so excited, and that was another thing too, where I was like, "Okay, I can actually attack this." Like, my first performance was the last day of OTAs, so I'm literally at OTAs, wrap up, having our practice.
Did your teammates know?
No, nobody could really know. Okay. So we had to keep that hush hush. Yeah. But I would leave there and then, hopped in the car service and went to Hollywood. And now all of a sudden I'm suited up in this big old green costume with big feet and big arms. And I can't even, it was such a surreal moment. But to be able to share the stage with people like Mario, with Boyz II Men, to be able to compete against them. I mean, I remember I had like a battle royale versus Mario. He was the Wasp. And I'm sitting there like, this guy's legit. Like, I know he's either Mario or Neo or, we don't know who each other are. We don't know who the other person is.
Okay.
And so I'm up there competing. And once we finally figured out who it was like, not only did I share the stage, but it was a thing where it was like, that was the best battle that we've ever had and this, that, and the other. And it's like, man, like, we play Let Me Love You all the time in the locker room or in the weight room. And it's like, I'm up there sharing the stage with that guy, or I'm up there sharing the stage with Boyz II Men. It was such a surreal experience.
I bet.
Musically or vocally, because it turns out you also play instruments on top of the singing.
Of course he does. He probably dances too. Can you dance?
I don't want to know.
I did a little. So I would love to be on Dancing with the Stars with this all over. I did a little TikTok dance. I sent it to my wife. It was just funny. It was from Wicked, and it blew up. It got like 5.4 million views or something like that.
Well, of course it did.
But I'm not any good. But if I put some time into it, man.
Well, clearly, if you put maybe a minuscule amount of time in it, Kobie, you'd be.
What
good
are you bad at? I need to know. What are you like? Can you?
What am I bad at?
Can you play golf?
No, I'm not good at golf.
I need one thing to know that you're.
Okay, so I tried out for the basketball team my freshman year, and my coach was a football coach, and he told me, "You're basically going to sit on the bench, so we're just not going to have you on the team because I respect you." And so that's one thing. But I will say I'm a solid role player. I'm the typical hustle, whatever. But my shot is not great.
Who are musically, vocally some of your influences, and are there any that you think might surprise people?
Yeah. So influences, okay. Some influences would be Lizzie McAlpine, which is probably super shocking to people, and Noah Kahan. I love their style of music. I love the way that they're able to communicate their story through just them and the guitar or them and the piano. And that's something that I'm really drawn to. I'm really drawn to their stories, whether it be sad music, happy music. Lizzie has a lot of sad songs, but Like I'm a huge Lizzie stan. I know all of her music, and I think that's really the one that would surprise people. But other than that, I mean, I grew up listening to gospel, so that was a big influence for me. That's where I learned kind of how to sing. I grew up singing in church and stuff like that, and then I'm such a huge choir nerd, so I kind of use that as well. Like I can go name off like Ola Jello is one of the composers that I love. Eric Whitaker is amazing. But being able to use my voice in those different ways and being able to stretch myself in a bunch of different ways. And then you think of people like Hosier, you think of people like Teddy Swims. I really love how Teddy Swims uses his voice, how he can mend his style to multiple different styles of music. And then a guy that I really like too is, his name is Jamal. He just won American Idol.
Okay.
But the way that he sings just brings you in, and he's singing about something real. And so I would say I would mostly say that Lizzie and Noah Khan are some of my influences as far as the style of music that I like to play and the style of music that I like to put out. But in general, I listen to a wide variety, whether it be all of those things. I was just listening to Bad Bunny today, or like Mark Anthony today, and like it's all over the place. I listen to some metalcore sometimes. Like it's insane.
Can you act?
Can I act? No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I've never tried it. For now,
Yeah,
I would love to do a little
tried.
Broadway stint. I would love to do a little Broadway stint when it's all said and done, but not for the acting, just for the singing. I love Broadway.
Yeah, okay, let's say you play in the NFL another 10, 12 years. You have the dream NFL career, right? You win the Super Bowl, Pro Bowls, all this great stuff. You want to be a recording artist when it's done?
I don't know. I've never been super drawn to being a recording artist, but with some of the stuff that I was able to do on The Masked Singer, it was like I have a story to tell, and I have music to be able to put out there. And so that whole piece is from more of an authentic light. I always viewed myself as being a high school choir director when it was all said and done, because my high school choir director, Miss Lynn Levine Babcock, made the biggest impact on my life and honestly saved me. Like, there's so many things that I was going through in high school, and music was my outlet, and she was the one that brought that to me. She actually officiated our wedding as well, so that was super cool.
You just got married, right?
Yeah, I just got married.
Congratulations.
3 months ago.
Okay.
But yeah, so that was a super cool moment. So I really want to be able to give the gift of music, the outlet that music is, back to kids in a sense, where in a time where they can really use it, where they can turn it and use it to be an outlet for their emotions, use it to be able to get through life and all of these different things, and really to have that be as important as it was for me to have, to be able to give them that opportunity.
It sounded too also when you mentioned like Masked Singer and not as interested in the recording music. Sounds like the performance element, it matters a lot to you as well, like doing it in front of people, that direct connection.
Yeah, it means a lot. And I think whether it be the performing aspect, whether it be, I mean, I've been able to find a couple of jam sessions. We got connected with Alex Iono and AJ Raphael, which were people that I'd watched their YouTube videos back when I was a kid, and to just be able to come into a space that's welcoming and to be able to share music and to just be a part of that collective experience is really something that draws me in. And so that performance aspect, that communal aspect as well, was super important to me.
Kobie Turner, Rams defensive tackle, Masked Singer, and too many good things to list. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming by. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you. All right, so Quentin Lake is going to close the show for us coming up here in just a little bit. It has been it's been a great night here at YouTube Theater. Rams revealed, and I could listen to that story all night long. That is, you know what? Honestly, like now I'm conflicted because getting to speak with him for a few minutes, I like him, but I almost dislike him even more now because he's a nice guy on top of all the rest of it.
It's similar to when I would see Aaron Donald post game in the locker room shirtless, and you just feel horrible about yourself.
Yeah,
seeing that. Talking with Kobie Turner, same experience.
Yeah, it's. Like I said,
what am I doing with my life?
Yeah,
that's what you think about.
I feel like, you know what, I have a job. I've earned a living.
Yeah.
But yes, everybody does that. Everybody does that. But it's not,
it's not him.
He's in the NFL and he's that good at that. Pretty impressive. So Quentin Lake's going to make his way up here in just a little bit. Let's take a quick little timeout. We'll come back and we'll talk a little defense with Q Lake. It's right around the corner. It is Rams Revealed 2025 from YouTube Theater.
Sedano and Cap.
Tomorrow at 3 p.m. after Mason and Ireland.
They got it all hooked up at the Dodger games.
Really?
Yeah, they got great seats, like right down the third base line.
Beautiful.
Like good table right in front of them where you can have like cervezas.
Oh, those seats.
And some aguas calientes.
Hot water?
No, what's the what did I have today?
Aguas calientes. I have family there.
What do I have? What did I have today? The shrimp. What did I have today?
Aguachiles.
Not aguas calientes. What did I have?
Is that a casino?
Agua Caliente by DeAndre's house.
Right.
Yeah. And then Aguas Calientes where my cousin lives in the state of Mexico.
Okay.
But you're getting there, Cappy.
What did I eat today?
Shrimp.
No, but come on. No, I don't want the white guy version. What was it called?
DeAndre?
What was it called?
Aguachiles.
Aguachiles. See, now I got aguas calientes.
You were close, Cap.
I was very close. Aguas chiles.
The LA Afternoon Takeover. That's Sedano and Cap.
On 710 ESPN. The biggest show on the radio. Mason and Ireland on 710.
I ran into a dilemma when we were coming home from Hawaii, and I know I'm going to get bagged on for this, so I'm just going to throw it out there.
I'm ready to bag you.
We were offered a first class or business class upgrade
Wait a minute,
on our flight home.
Both of you or just one of you?
Just one of us.
So wait, I want to pause. You guys aren't already flying first class?
We never do. We never do.
Come on, Mason.
We got
You work
bumped
too hard.
for money and miles. We got bumped to first class
But
or
just
business.
one seat.
Just one seat.
So how'd you play it?
How do you think I played?
I think you took it and made Juan sit in the back.
I agree.
I begged Juan to take it.
Am I right or am I wrong about how it ended up?
I pleaded with him, John.
Am I right or am I wrong about how it ended up?
Please, Juan.
Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right.
The OGs of LA Sports Radio.
Tomorrow at noon.
Mason and Ireland on 710 ESPN.
We are is because of that.
All right, we are back at the YouTube Theater. It is Rams Revealed 2025. It's been a great night getting ready for the season. We had a chance to talk to a lot of players, and it continues right now with safety Quentin Lake joining us. Quentin, it's a great night. You know, you were the last one up there on the stage, and people are kind of filtering out. We were talking a little bit during the break right there. Yeah. What's it like being up on stage there in front of all those folks?
It's awesome. It's such an honor to be able to be in front of such an incredible fan base. You see the love and support and passion they have. So as a player, you know, that's one of the biggest reasons why we do what we do is because the people that, you know, fill our stadium, buy tickets, and watch us each and every Sunday.
Kevin actually said that he was a little bit nervous. Like he was taken aback a bit just because you guys play in front of packed stadiums. Yeah. But, you know, you've got helmets on, shoulder pads. Like there's a little bit of disguise. Yeah. There you're just up there talking. Everybody's staring at you. It was a little bit weird for him.
Yeah, you know what? In this situation, it's a little bit more intimate. It's kind of easy when you're behind your helmet, you know, you're just playing football. But when you're actually looking in the crowd, seeing the passion and the expressions on people's faces, that's when it kind of hits home because you're really seeing face to face, you know, the emotions of people, you know, how joyful they are to see your face. So I was a little nervous, but once you get the crowd interacting and they start cheering, it's fun.
You know, Quentin, you and I spoke at training camp last year out at LMU, and it was before the season had started, and you know everything was kind of yet to reveal itself how the season was going to go. Right? No one's ever exactly sure how it's going to be, and one of the questions was, what's this defense going to look like? You know, there are a lot of new faces, and a very familiar face in Aaron Donald had retired, and so what's it going to look like? And by the end of the season, look, it's Matthew Stafford, it's Puka Nacua, it's Cooper Kupp, it's Sean McVay. You're always going to associate with offense. But by the end of the year, it's like, you know, that Rams defense is not just carrying its load. It may kind of like tipped actually towards their side of the scales. Yeah. Did you know that you had that kind of group way back in training camp?
Yeah, we knew. We knew even in the offseason program. I would think the confidence, the ability for us to perform was all the hard work and effort that happened in the offseason. You know, that was the ongoing theme was, what is this Rams defense going to be like without Aaron Donald? And now that narrative it's non-existent at this point. It's really, man, watch out for this young defensive front, this young Rams defense. And that just goes to show what we put on tape matters. What we put on tape showed people that, hey, these guys have earned it. They have earned the right to call themselves a great defense because of, you know, the games that we had where we were almost shutting out people. You know, there were a couple games where we had a team, you know, not score over 10 points, which is it's
the NFL.
It's hard. That's really, really hard to do. So I would say this year it's, how can we keep that momentum going on?
We were talking with Braden, and he had mentioned how, the defense collectively inexperienced. The leadership needs to come from somewhere. Yeah. He mentioned Kobie as one of the guys that stepped up, but also you. Yeah. How do you, I guess, discover the process of leadership, discover the confidence to go out and lead when you are still, relatively speaking, an inexperienced player yourself?
Yeah. People ask me this a lot, like, what do you do? What are some of the things, the core principles that you have? But you got voted as a captain for being yourself, being authentic and true to who you are, so why change, As a captain, there is a little bit of responsibility, being being one of the leaders on the defense. There is a little bit of a responsibility, but it's finding how you are able to affect and influence others around you. And I think the biggest thing is that's what I had to do this season is what is my leadership style, And I think I did a great job of that. And obviously Kobie Turner did a great job too. And I think the thing about it is all these guys have a voice because they've earned it.
Along similar-ish lines, your dad played in the league for a long time, many years for Emily Steelers. He was a very, very good player. I remember him. How much did just growing up around the league, like exposure to the league, acclimate you to having to do these things early in your career, do you think?
Yeah, it helps a lot. I was in the locker room with Ben Roethlisberger and AB and really that Steelers defense, and being around my dad and seeing his stories and hearing all the, things that he taught me, really the transition was seamless. It really was. I credit him all the time because he made really the mental aspect of the game easier. Taught me how to film study, taught me how to do a bunch of different things that, not a lot of people have access to. And really, I always talk about this too. You look at all the guys that have dads in the NFL, they do pretty well,
Yeah, it's not just the NFL. It's Major League Baseball, it's the NBA. Exactly. It's the path. Here's the path. Yeah. It's up to you whether you want to follow it or not. This is how you get there. It works, and now it's just you don't have to find it on your own. Exactly. It's somebody that's kind of blazing the trail for you, right?
Exactly that. I mean, he did a great job of setting the foundation, but at the same time, letting me be true and authentic to myself. It wasn't like, hey, you have to do it this way. It was, Quentin, this is your life. Live it the way you want to, but I am here full 100% if you need me as a resource. And I realized over time, I was like, man, why not use him as a resource? Why not? He's had over 20 years of experience being a coach and a player. It just made sense for me to use him. And obviously, that's somebody I model my game after too.
Have you ever been to London before?
Never been.
Okay.
Never been. I heard the food is kind of but
it is.
But I heard it's kind of but it should be fun. Anytime you get to go overseas, really with a group of guys like this, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, I wonder just the logistics of it all. Like a road trip is a road trip, but that's a road trip. Yeah. Like that is an extra ocean away. Yeah. Does it? I mean, you haven't done it before, but I would imagine that there's just extra stuff that you can't really prepare for until you go through it.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be worse than what we did for the Arizona game. That was crazy. You have families, babies, kids, dogs, pets, animals. It really, like Tyler Higbee said it the best. It looked like Noah's Ark. It really did. Like you just got a whole, like it was just everything, at one time.
How were you guys able to not? I mean, you do what you got to do. Yeah. The city was in a rough patch because of the fires, but it's like, hey, look, we got to do it. Is it just this is what we're doing? Can you stop and think about it as it's happening, or is it just we got to go? That's it.
I mean, one thing Coach Sean McVay said about our team is, we're built for it, and that's kind of the mindset and mentality that we had last year, and that's when it really started. Is we're built for this. We're built to overcome adversity. We're built for hard things. Tough times don't last. Tough people do. And I think that's one of the, core principles that we had last year is, yes, there are fires. Yes, our city is affected. Southern California is affected. But at the same time, we're built for these hard times. And for us, our responsibility is give the fans, football fans in general, 3 hours of hope. And that was kind of, what we wanted to do going, through those couple of days where we had to go over to Arizona.
Sacking the quarterback 400 times probably helped.
Oh, my gosh. That was awesome. I think that was a record in the playoffs.
It was, yeah.
That tragedy last season that you guys had to play through, it reminded me of earlier in the time. It was maybe only a couple of years after the Rams came back to L.A.
2018, 2019.
Yeah, there's that tragedy, that shooting in Thousand Oaks, and also fires. Yeah. And I remember talking with different Rams, and they said that like that experience, awful as it was, it made them also really realize how connected to the LA community that they actually were in ways that they didn't realize it until that moment of going through it. And it felt like last season was another reminder of you guys really are a part of Los Angeles.
Yeah, 100%. You know, when traumatic things like that happen, it gives you take a step back, and you're like, hey, what am I doing this for? You know, am I doing it for myself? Am I doing it for my family, or am I doing it for, you know, everybody, the whole community of LA? And I think that's really the perspective that we had when the fires were going on. We're at practice. I swear, we're at practice. The fires are going on in the Palisades. You can see them straight line. You look off to the right, a whole hill's on fire over there too. So, you know, it was crazy because you're living it too. And now you're like, well, is my family affected? There's so many different things, but that Minnesota game meant so much for us, and I'm so glad we went out there and proved to ourselves and to the people of LA that, you know, we're going to give you guys hope.
It was a great moment, and it was a great season last year. We are looking forward to the 2025 season again. Yeah. Quentin Lake, of course, will be a very big part of that. Quentin, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate you. That's going to do it for Rams Revealed 2025 here from the YouTube Theater. For Andy Kamenetzky, I'm Travis Rodgers, and let's go Rams.